I want to talk about the end of the Parsha, which has in it the Mizbeach HaZahav, wherein they offer the Ketoret. You shall make an altar in which to bring incense up in smoke. Of acacia wood you shall make it, and upon it Aaron shall bring the spice incense up in smoke every morning. When he cleans the lambs, he shall bring it up in smoke. We have one question to ask today, very simple question. If you take a look in Parshat Truma, we have a list of all the different parts in the Mishkan. We have the Aron, we have the Mizbeach, we have the Shulchan, we have all the different, accoutrements. Why isn't the Mizbeach HaZahav listed there? Why is it found where? In the end of Parshat Tetzaveh. Hello. They brought the incense on it. So it's like any other aspect of offering. So it should be in Parshat Truma. What is it doing in Parshat Tetzaveh? That's the question. Pretty simple question. So just to give an answer before we look at ours, in source number 5, Rav Pincus talks about it symbolically. Then in Parshat Truma, it talks about, let's say, the Mizbeach, which you have to offer the animals, and the menorah, which has to be katit lema'or, the olive has to be, crushed. That's talking about the hard work. When all the hard work is said and done, then you can get the incense, then you can get the good smell. Life is about first what? Putting in the effort, and then you get the payback. Having said that, I'd like to try to take a look at two approaches. Obviously, there's a zillion things to say about this, right? We don't even scratch the surface, you know that. I'd like to take a look at two approaches, and level number 1 will have 2 aspects to it. So altogether, we'll have 3 aspects, and clearly with the mindset of how this is applicable to our lives. Very good. If you don't have that, then we've failed. The Ben Melech offers in Rav Mintzberg in source number 7 a very fascinating distinction. He says there are 2 aspects to the Mishkan. I'm in the arrow in source number 7. He says, Parshat Truma is the Tsuras Habayis, Umehavim Chelek Bilti Nifrad Me'ikar Tavnito. It's about that which was found in the Mishkan, that which we need to be, using. Then there's a second aspect to the Mishkan, and that is called not the Tavnit HaMishkan, but it's rather, he calls it in 8, the Klei HaMikdash, the items used in order to do those services. Let's put that in English. The Mizbeach had ashes. Trumat Hadeshim was taking out the ashes. Well, how did they take out the ashes? They took it out on a what? A shovel. Very good. They took it out on a shovel. That shovel is not found in Parshat Truma, because what is the shovel?
It's a service instrument.
It's a service instrument. It's a service instrument for the main service. So he says that is what the Ketoret is about. The Ketoret, the incense offering, was in a world of its own. First of all, in 9, Haresha Ketoret Einam Misuk Havodot Hanasod V'chvod Habayit. The Ketoret has nothing to do with the typical items found in the service of God. Elohi Na'aseit Ka'avodah Yeshira LaHashem. It goes directly to Hashem. And that's why you have the Ketoret offered not only on the Mizbeach HaKetoret. What am I referring to? When was the Ketoret offered not on the Mizbeach HaKetoret? Very good, Yom Kippur, in the Kodesh HaKodashim. Because the Ketoret had a world of its own. The Ketoret was a direct line of connection to Hashem. And that's why he calls the Ketoret in the end of 10a, Lo Kechelek Mitzuras Habayit. It's not part of the actual structure of the house. Ela B'Toras Kli Sharei. It was a medium. Hamishamesh Ke'ein Maktan Dola. It's very fascinating. The Melech says you would look at the Mizbeach Ketoret as like one big frying pan, which was a medium in order to serve Hashem, but it's not about the Mizbeach itself. Because if I didn't have the Mizbeach, I can still what? I can still serve Hashem. So why is it not found in Parshat Truma? Because it doesn't follow the category of everything else. It's a world of its own. And indeed, it's fascinating. In 11, the Darash Navi points out that when in Parshat Shmini, they're trying to bring the Shechina down, Avram brings korbanos, and they bless the people. The end of 11, V'lo yarda Shechina ad shekrivu et haktoret. What brought the Shechina down? When they brought the Ketoret. The Ketoret is a world of its own. It's like in its own category. Now, here's the question. You had a question?
I really don't understand the distinction between the Mizbeach Zahav and the regular Mizbeach. If you think of a Korban as, Reach, it's like it's going Yashar
Nachon.
to Hashem. I don't really understand why
What
the
is it?
Mizbeach is different than the
Right.
other one. It's
So-
an instrument as well.
Right. Good. So let me go a little further, and I think we'll clarify it. The question's a good question. Let me go a little further. And let me ask the question that she just asked. What is unique about the Mizbeach HaKetoret that it will be different than, let's say, the regular Mizbeach? So in order to answer that question, why it's in a category of its own, which is really the question, I want to look at an idea which is so beautiful in the Sefer Machaneh Dan. Thanks for not asking me who wrote the book. I really appreciate your sensitivity. In source number 12, I want to learn this inside. V'nere b'veir dvarav dihine kvar nodu divrei rabotenu asher kol ma'arechet hamishkan v'kelav mechuvanim heim keneged olam umlo'o. All of the Mishkan parallels the world. V'chol asher yeshno ba'olam, whatever is found in the world is found in the Mishkan. Now, let's go further. An Adam is an olam katan. Man is a little world. And therefore, everything that's found in the world is found in man. Everything that's found in man is found in the Mishkan. This goes back to our SATs, A equals B, B equals C, A equals C. Do any of you remember that? Let's put this into English. The Malbim, as well as others, go through all the different kalim in the Mishkan, and they parallel it to different parts of our body. So the shulchan would be the stomach, the aron, the heart, right? The different parts of the mizbeah, of the Mishkan parallel us. Now here's the question. What parallels the Mizbeach HaKetoret? So what is that? Let's flip the page. Very good, let's flip the page. ומשכך נבוא עתה 13 לבאר פנימיות עניינה של קטורת ברוח זו, והיינו, דהנה האדם אשר נברא אחרון בבריאה בסדר בריאת העולם. Again, everything in the Mishkan is found in, everything in the world is found in the Mishkan. What was the last thing created in the world? Was Adam. Okay, Chava was also, I grant you that. Adam. And what was the last part that was created in Adam? The breath of life, very good. The pasuk says, "Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et Adam afar min ha'adama." Hashem formed man from the afar min ha'adama, from the earth. And here's the key: "Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chayim vayhi Adam l'nefesh chayim." Yeah, Hashem breathed into Adam a breath of life. Where did He breathe into Adam? Into his nose. Vayipach be'apav. How do we define the Ketoret? The Ketoret is referred to in the double underline in the arrow paragraph. Yasimu Ketorah be'apecha. The Ketoret is linked to the nose as well. Let's put this into English. Why is the Ketoret a world into its own? Because the Ketoret represents the grand finale of the Mishkan. It represents the spiritual aspect of the Mishkan. Just like Hashem breathed into, so to speak, the nostrils of Adam to create what? To create a breath of life in him. So too the Mizbeach HaKetorah was a world of into its own because it didn't parallel a part of the body. It paralleled what? Right, the neshama of the person. And that is what we know in the dot in 13. What is Amarav, Minayin Shemavrachim al Reach? What do we say on Reach? Kol HaNeshama Telelka. Reach and Neshama go hand in hand. Hence, we have Besamim for what? Havdalah. So why is the Mizbeach Torah a world of into its own? Because its service is not really about this world. It's about a dimension, even though the Mizbeach, you're right, is l'reach nichoach to Hashem, but it's using more of the physical aspect of this world of animals. This is purely what? Purely spiritual, which is only the spices. I'll just add here a very fascinating idea to complete 1A. What'd you say? Oh, we know that at the end of davening, in Eretz Yisrael they say it every day, most of us go to Shul just Shabbos, at the end of Musaf, they say Ein Kelokeinu. Do you know what I'm talking about? In America, they usually what? Sing Ein Kelokeinu. Here, most shuls just what? Say it. They say it. Now, did you ever think about, I just want to hold Ein Kelokeinu for a moment. We're going on literally a minute tour. We say Kelokeinu, then we say Mi Kelokeinu, we say Nodel Elokeinu, Baruch Elokeinu. I'm skipping the Adoneinu Malkeinu, yeah. And then Ato Elokeinu, and then we end off. Yeah, it's a Torah something. Do you ever think about why that's at the end? You ever wondered? I never either. It's a good question. I don't wonder about most things. I'm just happy to get home from school. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was not serious. I do not want to be quoted on that. So he speaks about on a very Kabbalistic level. We turn to Hashem and first say Ein. You can't comprehend Hashem. He's beyond our comprehension. Then we say me. Me Kabbalistically represents the Keter, the Chochmah, Bina, and Das. Well, there's some way we do have an apprehension of Hashem, the Midos, the way he relates to us in this world. Once we have this aspect, then we have the ability to be Noda, to be able to what? To acknowledge and give thanks. Once we've given thanks, we're then able to access the Baruch. We're able to access the Brecha, of bringing Hashem down into our life. Once we brought Hashem down to our life, now we're up close personal. Now we can say, what? Atah. And then, what is the grand finale, the cherry on top of the cake? The Ketoret HaSamim. Because the Ketoret HaSamim represents that direct connection to Hashem.
It's very interesting physiologically.
Let me hear.
The sense of smell is the only sense. It's transmitted through the olfactory bulbs in the nose, the direct extension of the central nervous system. All the other senses are through peripheral nerves. The
And
sense
this
of
is-
smell is directly into
Wow.
the brain.
Wow, what do you make of that? Isn't that
Amazing.
exactly what we're talking about?
Amazing, isn't it?
It's on a different dimension. Wow. Thank you for coming tonight and sharing that with us. But what you
16
see,
years of anatomy.
okay, that was worth it. What you see here is that what we're talking about everything's found in the Mishkan is found in us. Va'od ech. This is the core of who we are. This is it. Okay, my friends. So level 1A is very simple. Why is the Ketorah in its own right? Because the Ketorah has a relationship with Hashem that's not part of the regular nervous system. It's not part of the regular functioning of a person. It's the spiritual dimension, which is the way Hashem interacts with us, and we're able to bring Hashem down. And in order to show that it has its own placement, we wait until what? Parshat Tetzaveh, the end of Parshat Tetzaveh. But the question still begs itself. Okay, so you want it in a different parsha, but why wait till what? The end of Parshat Tetzaveh. There must be something what? something else here, which leads us to a second idea. The Nome of Vinskan, Chumash 16. The main purpose of this Mizbeach was to burn the Ketoras on it, as its name indicates. It's interesting that the Ketoret mixture includes chelbana, a root that gives off a foul-smelling odor. The Gemara says the chelbana evokes the sinners of Klal Yisrael. They too are represented in the Ketoras because if they cling to the tzaddikim, which is represented by the pleasant-smelling incense, they can be raised closer to Hashem. The reason it was specifically through smell that the sinners of Klal Yisrael have a tikkun can be explained with an enlightening concept from the Bnei Yissaschar. Of the 5 senses, only 4 were involved in the sin of the Eitz Hadat. Chava heard the snake's words. She saw the fruit shine. She gave it with her hands to Adam, and they both tasted it. Thus, only the sense of smell remained uncontaminated. Wow. It's the most spiritual of all the senses. That's why the Gemara says that the sense of smell produces enjoyment for the soul, because it's unaffected by the sin of Eitz Hadat. Smell is a sense with a spiritual dimension.
Didn't they also say that Yitzchak smelled God ate it?
Yes, 100%, 100%. And that's why he blessed him, 100%. This is why specifically through smell that the Rishayim of Klal Yisrael have their tikkun. Most of their deeds awaken Hashem's wrath. It is with the power of smell, that spark of spirituality, that was never affected by sin, they can still bring contentment to Hashem. And that's the ultimate purpose of the inner Mizbeach, to highlight and revive the innermost Kedusha of even the sinners of Klal Yisrael. And hence, this is why the Ketorah is what was brought on Yom Kippur, because this is the ultimate. And we know that when we begin Yom Kippur, we ask permission that we should daven with the what? The Varyanim, with those who sinned. Right? That's what Yom Kippur is about. It's about the Ketorah. So he says that's the distinction. The other Keli represent the Tzaddikim. This is the Rishayim. So it's at the end of Tetzaveh. But that still doesn't answer our question. So I want to learn together a beautiful piece from the Lekach Valibu for Rav Avram Halevi Shor, Shlita. And he describes in 19 that there's a distinction between Moshe and Aaron. Moshe Rabbeinu's job in the arrow, Hayah Laharid HaTorah Min HaShamayim. His job was to bring Torah down from heaven. Aaron HaKohen's job was Lahagbiam Lamala, to bring the people up. Moshe Rabbeinu is bringing Torah down, Aaron is bringing people up. And he describes that's the difference between Erev to Boker and Boker to Erev. That's why Aaron lit the menorah every Erev that lasted till the Boker. We're in a world of Erbuvia, a world of confusion. Boker is Bikur, Levaker, clarity. That was Aaron's job, to move from the world of confusion to the world of clarity. And hence we know the Mishnah Perkei Avos in 20 that says, Hevemi tamidav shel Aaron, ohev shalom v'rodev shalom, ohev eta brios m'karven l'Torah. So he wants to know, why is the word brios used? It should be ohev anoshim. Why brios? So he said brios is somebody who's lost everything. All that they have is that they're a creation of God. They're a nifra. We're talking about people who've what? Hit rock bottom. It's interesting, in 21, that Aaron HaKohen wore an ephod. Ephod stands for the acronym of the pasuk, Al Lamda Poshim Drachecha. I will teach the sinners your way, just switching around one, V'chataim elecha yashuvu, and let the sinners return. So this was Aaron's job. This was what Aaron was about. Now we understand why Aaron's job was to bring the Ketorah, which is from the word lekasher, to connect. And this is why The Mizbeach HaZahav had a crown on it, in the asterisk in 22. Lachina keter kuna shu hazer zahav hu daika leMizbeach HaZahav ki hi malatov keter shel Aaron HaKohen. Why was the crown on the Mizbeach HaZahav not on the outer Mizbeach? Because this was the crowning glory of Aaron. Bring the chalbanah with the other spices. Bring people back to Hashem. So now it makes so much sense. Parshat Tetzaveh is about the clothes of Aaron HaKohen. Parshat Tetzaveh is about the inauguration of Aaron HaKohen. Once I've gotten him clothed, and once I've inaugurated him, what is the pinnacle? How does the Parsha end? It ends with a description of what Aaron HaKohen's job is, the Ketoret. What is the Ketoret? Bringing people closer to Hashem. And it's not by accident. You will see intertwined in the psukim that he lit the candles. And a lot of Mefarshim ask, what did the two have to do with each other? But that's lighting the candle, right? We know, Balot and they wrote that it should be Acha Hashal Hevet Olam Aleha. The flame was able to catch by itself. We're the flame. That we're able to stand on our 2 feet, that we're able to become the people that Aaron HaKohen envisioned that we can become. With this, my friends, we can understand in 24 why it's called a Mizbeach. We're not offering a sacrifice, but it is in 24, Hayaz Vichas Hayetzer Shapos OUisrael. Well, we are sacrificing on the Mizbeach is the negative inclinations of people, that they are trying to realign themselves. Now I can appreciate this week is Shabbos Zachar, right? Remember Amalek. What does this have to do with Amalek? So I'll tell you what it has to do with. Who did Amalek try to attack? Very good. Those who were, however you want to translate, Nechshalim. But these are not the people who are the weak and the slow in walking. No. The Nechshalim are those who were not, say it? Yeah, they weren't holding. Pol Tama Anan. The Anan said, hey, you know what? Like if you're not holding, goodbye. Aaron HaKohen is the Ananei HaKavod. Aaron HaKohen is the one who tried to what? Include everybody. Somebody who wasn't able to be included, they are open for the attack of Amalek. And therefore, what does he say Amalek is? It's very fascinating, 26a. Ikar ma shemevi Amalek l'to klal Yisrael hi ha'yeush rifayon yadayim hakavanahu yeush. Ki yesh lo liyesh ve'en lo tikva hu ratzon Amalek. Amalek is those people, what Amalek wants to inject into us is you're a loser. There's no hope for you. Ugh, just forget it. That's Amalek. Mechias Amalek is about, we have to rid that idea in us. We have to believe in 26b, Yesh Chiyuv Emunah B'Kedushas Yisrael. You have to believe that every person is important, every person's special. As Reb Tzadok says, the first thing you have to believe in is Ribono Shel Olam. The second thing you have to believe in is yourself. And that's the war of Amalek. I'm going to get there. I have that here. I have it. Rich, relax. I have it.
Sure, it just brings in mind the Chatophim that see Ayush, they just were able actually to cling to their, I mean.
That's it. That's it. Because that's the core of every Jew. The core of every Jew is, even in the hardest times, we have Amunah. And this is the word with Amalek. And I will tell you, just adding on to what you're saying, Hamas, Yimach Shemam, are very much Amalek because they're not only involved in a physical war, they're very much involved in a psychological war. And that psychological torture is Amalek. It's just undermining the Nazis. Yimach Shemam is also that Amalek. Well, you're a number. You're not a person, right? Man's search for meaning, Viktor Frankl's, that response. This is the fight of Amalek. No, I'm not a number. No, I am going to get out. You want to add?
Yeah, I actually heard something very beautiful. You know, it's connected Na'aseh and Nishma, that Esav was Na'aseh, like the Nazis, they built the concentration camps and Zyklon B and all that, and they were conquered by the armies. Yishmael is Neged
Nishma.
Nishma, where it's an ideology. And so
Wow.
it's not enough to conquer that. We have
Wow.
to counter their ideology.
Wow.
our
Fascinating.
spirits. Yes.
Wow, thank you for sharing. Esav is Nasa, Yishmael's Nishma. You can knock a Nasa through war, but a Nishma, an ideology, you have to work on a whole different,
Like fire with fire.
yeah, it's not Parshat. We're in very difficult times, but this is mamish what it's about. Just to take this one step further, before we take it a little bit further, in 29, Rav Shor's father, Rav Gedalia Shor, that's out, or Gedayahu, he speaks about, this is so profound, in 29, he says, we know Ketorah is the idea of kesher, to connect, and Sha'ketorah mekasher et adam b'shorosh hachayim. Ketorah links a person to the source of life. V'im ha'adam hu mekushar ba'makor. And if a person is connected to the source of life, b'chayei ha'chayim, as ein l'mitah shlita alav klal, then you don't have the force of death on you. And that's why the Ketorah was brought after the Korach story to stop the Magefa. But based on what we're saying, it makes so much sense. If Ketorah is the breath of life, if you connect yourself to not just the physical Ketorah, but what it means, that I am intrinsically connected to Hashem at all costs, then the Ketorah is a protection for this person. Now, if we move into your son's Sefer, is he a rabbi? I made him a rabbi. Purim eternal. Is he a rabbi? Avi?
Rabbis?
Is Avi a rabbi?
Not formally, no.
Okay, I made him a rabbi. 31. His Sefer.
Exactly.
Okay, so now he's a rabbi. You can tell him I gave him rabbinic ordination. First time I've ever given smicha. I'm not going to be the last, probably. Okay, here we go. It's a great Sefer, Purim eternal. The Ketorah contains 11 spices, and one of them, the chalbanah, does not have a sweet aroma like the other ingredients. The Gemara learns from here that even a person who's a spiritually foul odor to his entire virus have to be included in fastened fields of Klal Yisrael. Rabbeinu Bachai elaborates on this concept and writes that any Jewish gathering that does not include the sinners of Israel is not a true gathering. And that's why, even though the number 10 generally symbolizes shlemus, completeness, when, like by a minyan, one would have thought that 10 would be enough for the sweet-smelling spices. Why do we add an 11th? The Ketorah comes to accentuate that by including the spice that may seem different, out of place, or even inferior on its own, we're really causing the entire mixture to be tremendously enhanced. And that brings us to 33, the beautiful idea of Shmuel Brazil in the Sefer B'Shvili Nivra Ola. He points out a beautiful remiss to this lesson of the Ketorah from the name Chalbanah itself. The letters of the word Chalbanah are the same as the Rashi Tevot of the phrase Chayav Lomar, person's obligated to say, B'Shvili Nivra Ha'olam. For me, the world is created. That's the fight of Amalek. That's the Chalbanah. Every person has a voice in this world.
I actually heard something else lovely. That's why Shivrei Haluchos were also.
Yes, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. Even if a certain individuals performed Averos, Hashem loves him unconditionally and waits his tshuva. Sibur, at the end of 33, stands for Sadiqim, Benonim, and Rishayim. That's what Sibur is about. It's about all of people collectively together. With this, we can appreciate the idea of Mordechai. Mordechai, where's Mordechai hinted at in the Torah? So now I get it. The Gemara says that Mordechai in 34 is hinted into the spice more drawer, which Targum Onkelos as Mira Dachya, which is almost identical to the name Mordechai. Why is this the source of Mordechai's name? The Yaros Tvash suggests that the allusion to Mordechai is from the Ketores, because Mordechai gathered all the Jews together in tefillah and fasting, even the Rishayim, in the same manner, the Chobanas, including the Ketores. He further comments that the word Ketores, which also means Kesher, Anah, and Mordechai was able to bind together the entire tzibur and thus create a special Kesher between Klal Yisrael and their Father in heaven. And this is alluded to in the Mass on Purim. It's not about what you look on the outside. Every person has greatness on the inside. And it's just to reinforce that idea. We don't get caught up on the outside. We don't know what anyone is. Nobody knows what anyone is. But inside every Jew is special. You wanted to add? You wanted to add? No? Okay.
I did. I just wanted to ask, what is it saying in the Megillah about, it says Perudim or Nephidim, in terms of the beginning, they were scattered.
All right.
What's the expression? So you change the letters around, it's Refidim. It's
Right.
the same, so basically, when they say Refidim, usually you say Rafel Yadayim. But it's also that they were scattered, they weren't together.
They weren't together.
This is a tikkun from Amalek.
Right, and that's why Purim is a time of unity, where we give Mishloach Manot and Matanos Lavyonim and Koloposhet Yanotim Lo. It is to create that unifying factor. But I want us to take it a step further tonight, that we have to look at everybody on Purim as, wow, you're special. That's the Mechias Amalek, where we have to see ourselves as special, B'Shvili Nivra Olam, and see everyone else that way, yeah.
Also, the word for self-confidence is bitachon, that's me. And if you have bitachon,
That's it, it works both ways, good, yeah.
Why are we supposed to say Ketoras from the cloud?
That's a whole different shir. That's not tonight. That is not tonight. You know what, I have to go for 120 years with Hashem. I have to go for 120 years. If I teach everything in one night, then I run out of material. And that's why Rabbi Bernstein, in his Sefer on Purim, revealing the mask or something along that line, 37, Esther is also connected to smell. Esther's original name is what? Hadassah, which is myrtle. It's smell. Why are both protagonists in the Purim story associated with sense of smell? The sense of smell represents the means to which one may sense certain qualities, like the Mashiach will be v'haricho b'yiras Hashem. To the naked eye, they may appear distant in a low state, but when you're able to really smell out the core of who they are, and that's why it's not by accident. We've spoken about in the past how Purim and Yom Kippur are linked. So it makes sense that on Yom Kippur, the major avoda was what? The avoda of smell, the avoda of Ketoras. Just to take this one step further, and we'll end the first level, there's an idea that I taught last year. So for some of you, it will be familiar. I think it's relevant last year as it is this year, so I'm teaching it again. And some of you, the light bulb might go on. In source number 40, in Reb Brazil's Sefer, B'Shvili Nivra Olam, he speaks about the Megala Amukos points out that Haman is the gematria of Chelbana. Yotzei Shekol Ritzano Shel Amalek, because what does Amalek want you to do? Levatel Mikol Yudi Argasha Pratin Shechayav Lomar B'Shvili Nivra Olam. Amalek is at the Chelbana level. Don't believe that you're special. Which leads us to the war, that when Aaron HaKohen dies, the Anei Kavod left. And the Pasuk says that Melech Knani, Arad Melech Knani comes out to fight the Jews. And Chazal tell us he wasn't Melech Knani, he was really Amalek. Again, so when Aaron leaves, obviously Amalek comes in. And the Pasuk says, Vayesh mimenu shevi. They took one captive. Rashi says she was a shivcha. And the Tam Vidas writes that Klal Yisrael went out to fight. Why? So he says, Ro'iman and let's take a look in the asterisks in 40. Rav Sternbach Shlita. Godel hachiyuv latzil afilu nefesh achat misrael. The importance of saving even one person. We don't say, oh, it's one captive, who cares? No. Va'af imena elo shivcha. It doesn't matter if she's even a shivcha. Achat. Im ach nimseid hi b'sakana te'ima. If she is in danger, ve'itzu kaisel milchama latzila meredet shachat. You have to go out to war. Va'im yimzem mishum. Why? Shekol ha'olamos kshurim, double underline, v'yom kim. All of the spiritual worlds gain their energy and strength and hashpa'atam and their influence. Ma'avadato shokol yachid misrael. From every single Jew ba'olam hazeh. And we have no ability to appreciate the value of every Jew. And this is the lesson we are showing the world. Every hostage is gold. Every Jew. The world is dependent on them. Comes at a price, a very big price. But this is the reality. This is a Jewish hashkafa. So again, level number one, we spoke about the Torah is the neshama. It's the core of who we are. It is a direct line to Hashem, like Hashem breathed into our nostrils. Hashem is breathing into the Mishkan through the Torah. The sense of smell is the highest sense. It's a sense of the neshama. And the second aspect, the sense of smell, is particularly important when you add the piece of the chelbana. Because what the Jewish people are about are the 11 spices, not 10. And every member of the Jewish people is impactful. And that was Aaron HaKohen's job. Bring everyone together. Mordechai's job, bring everyone together. Mordechai is the walking representation of the Torah. And it's not by accident we always read Parshat Tetzaveh around Purim time, because the two are linked together. Purim is the demonstration of the Torah. Let's end with level 2 very briefly. And that is a whole different aspect. This is the Mishchat Shemen, Rav Kaufman from Gateshead. He says in 41, Shekol kelim hayu tnai lavoda hashayechet lahem, dahainu shebehedram lo asu tavoda. If there's no aron, you can't put the luchos there. If there's no menorah, you can't light. You need to have that item there in order to do the avoda. The exception is the ketoret. If the ketoret mizbeach is missing, in the place where the ketoret mizbeach stood, you can offer the ketoret. Yes?
But in the second temple, when we didn't have the aron, they still went in for Yom Kippur.
Yeah, but they couldn't, they didn't have the luchos there. Wasn't this, they had the avoda, but there was no avoda with the aron. The menorah has the avoda with it. Yeah. What do you see from here? He says that the power of the Torah is it leaves an impression on the place that even when the Torah is missing, the place itself creates a reality, and therefore it's mentioned separately because it's in a category of its own. That brings us to 44 to bring into our lives. And he says, Va'od zo matzanu laho'il shavodat ha'ketoret, avodat ha'kodesh shebeketoret, ha'ktorat ha'ketoret lo nistama mitanu gam lachar shechara beis hamikdash b'avodatenu rabim. Okay, we don't have a ketoret today. Okay, so we offer the ketoret and we say the pitum ketoret. He says that no, we still have an aspect of the ketoret. The Medrash says that tefillah is connected to ketoret. A pasuk in Tehillim, tikon tefillati ketoret lefanecha. Why are they connected? So just like the ketoret leaves an impression on the place, that even if the ketoret, the mizbeach is not there, you feel the sense of what the energy of that place. That's the idea of tefillah as well, that a person needs to have a makom kavua in davening, so that even if you're not there, you what? It will create an energy in that place. When you walk in there, you feel like you're in the zone. You know, this past Shabbos, I sit in the corner in our shul, and somebody who always davened the other end of the shul came to this end. And she said to me after davening, wow, this is the best kept secret here. Like you feel. I said, you know why you feel? Because my daughters used to sit in this place. And you feel that energy of their davening. It's palatable. But I want you to know something in the circle asterisk. V'lo rak mitzvah tefillah domeh la'avodat Torah. It's not just tefillah, which is like it's a Torah. Ela kol ma'aseh tov sh'adam oseh harei zeh ki'ilu hiktir k'Torah k'vod shamayim. Every good deed we do is as if we're bringing an incense offering to Hashem. What is our job? Our job is to be able to feel the roshem, the impression of that mitzvah on us. Let's put this in English. I give tzedakah. How much after giving tzedakah am I still thinking about that mitzvah? The answer is usually, except if I gave a lot of money and I'm not sure I should have given that, right? Okay, leave that aside. It's like bounces off of me. Most mitzvahs bounce off of me because I don't invest in the mitzvah. The idea of a mitzvah is the idea of ketaret, that when the mitzvah is taken away, you still feel its what? Its effect, its roshim. That's the zach, yeah.
When Yosef was taken down to Mitzrayim,
Right.
the smell, was that the Keturahs? Or was
No.
No.
No, but I like it.
I find that when you have a chabur of women that are learning together, you get this bond between.
Yes, 100%.
Like a love for the next person. and you
Right.
Experience something.
Nachon.
Great with that.
Nachon, 100%. There's an energy in our siyasa mitzvos. Our job is to tap into that energy. Just to quote one or two more things on this page, and then my voice has, this was done before I walked in here, in 45. The pasuk in our Parshat says, Vayishma kolo bivo'o el HaKodesh. Aaron HaKohen had to wear bells on his robe so that his voice could be heard when he came into the Kodesh, Lifnei Hashem, u'b'tzei tov v'lo yamut. And when he left, so he shouldn't die. So the question is, I get it when he's walking in, that people should know he's walking in, but why do I need it when he's walking out? And the answer is very clear. In the Aaron 46, Sarich l'rosh ha'roshim hakadosh shenirsham alav b'shat meisa yachzik etzro l'zman meruba. You want the effect of his avoda to be long-term. V'gam b'tzeito min ha-mitzvah lo yamut mimenu haroshem. You don't want that impression to leave when he leaves the mitzvah, that he shouldn't go down from that level. Which explains in 47, after the Nazir does, brings the korbanos after the period of time he became a Nazir, the pasuk says in the bracket of 47, Va'achar yishteh ha-Nazir yayin. And then the Nazir should drink wine. Well, hold on a second. He's no longer a Nazir. He just ended his Naziros. So what do you mean? Now the Nazir should drink wine. That's what we're talking about. I'm no longer a Nazir technically, but I have not lost the impression of what the Nazir period is about. And he ends in 50 that this is our challenge with Purim. You have the schus of living in Yerushalayim, a 3-day Purim, wow, a Kedusha of the utmost. You can go into Purim and go out of Purim and you're the same person. Or you can really think about, what do I want to take out of Purim? And make that roshem that you then leave Purim on a what? on a high, and that's really that's our challenge, and that's the Torah. It's in a world class of its own, one, because it's about the yashar, the smell directly to Hashem. It's about connecting all of Klal Yisrael together, the job of Aram. And it's about even when the Torah isn't there, oh boy, is it there. And that has to be a mindset. After do I do a mitzvah, do I still feel its what? Its effects on me. That's the goal that we have to try to work for. Ad kan.